Welcome to Talking Dairy. I'm your host, Jack McGowan from DairyNZ. This episode is part of a special series recorded at the 2025 Precision Dairy Farming Conference in Ōtautahi, Christchurch. And I'm joined by two researchers from Teagasc in Ireland, Bernadette O'Brien and Lisa Parce. Ireland's pasture-based system is remarkably similar to ours, making their insights especially valuable. So let's get into it. Bernie, what are the key similarities and differences between Irish and New Zealand dairy farm systems that make your research so relevant to us?
The main factor there is the fact that we both have a seasonal dairy production system. Because of that, we have similar challenges in the grassland area and very much so as well in the labour area and the labour efficiency and similar people on farm issues.
Yeah. Have you been to New Zealand before, both of you?
Yes, I have. Yes.
I have not. This is my first time.
Are you getting to spend extra time here?
Yes.
Nice.
And on some farms as well. We've arranged cross visits to
Very
extend
nice.
the value of the conference,
Very
which has already been
nice.
valuable.
Oh, good. And you will have gone to the farm tour.
Yes, we both were on the farm
Yes.
tour.
Awesome. Bernie, can you give us a snapshot of, so the systems are similar between the two countries, but as I understand it, the kind of economic context that Irish dairy farmers work in might be a bit different from here in New Zealand.
Yes, that's correct. I suppose the scale is the different scene there. I mean, our average herd size at the moment is 92, 93 cows. Obviously, there are quite a few very large farms as well, but the scale is quite different. And the family farm income, I suppose, that we would be looking at would be approximately 108,000 euros at the moment. That changes, and we've had a couple of very good years in the last number of years, and 1 year where the profitability was reduced, but it is over 100,000 now on average per farm.
Okay, so smaller farms. And is the business structure similar?
The business
or different?
structure is quite different, I suppose, in the, particularly in relation to the people element, in that most of the, all of the farms really in Ireland would be family farm units, while they can be family farm units in New Zealand as well. The difference there is that they would have quite a few hired workers and external people and maybe students as well, and that, whereas in the Irish situation, it is generally the family unit and maybe the children or the offspring helping at weekends. What we, I suppose, have been trying to do from a labour perspective in the past times is to increase the focus on, for people to get contractors in to do particular tasks, maybe farm relief and that kind of thing as well, or maybe changing the milking frequency during the week, that people don't do 14 milkings per week. And all of that in order to improve the quality of life, because there is a greater focus on that now, and also to improve the succession scene, because that is becoming an increasing difficulty within the Irish scene. The age profile is increasing and many farmers do not have a successor even named, you know.
Yeah, or a successor that wants to take on 14 milkings.
That's right. That's right. And but I must say, I mean, going back to the link, I suppose, with New Zealand and the farming system here, many young people do come out, maybe after college years, and that they do come out to New Zealand and spend maybe 6 months or whatever here with a farmer as a placement on a farm here, and they gain excellent experience in that. And it is also part of our college scene as well. It's part of the UCD agricultural degree to come to New Zealand as well for a placement.
Okay, thank you. So this conference is about precision technology. Lisa, what technologies do Irish farmers kind of adopt, and what are their drivers? Why are they doing that?
There was a recent survey done that was run last year. So we have a really interesting annual survey in Ireland called the National Farm Survey. And this is facilitated by national farm recorders doing an amazing job with amazing farmers going out and sitting around the kitchen table, having a cup of tea and gathering information. So I was fortunate enough to submit a couple questions last year and they got accepted. And so we were actually looking at what technologies are being used. So it was a very fitting. So we looked at 18 different technologies and we said, how many of these are you using on farm currently? So there's some clear front runners and two of those are in the cleaning category. So automatic washers on the bulk tank at 86% rate of adoption for our survey, which represented about 12,000 dairy farmers. So if you do a stratified sample, it scales up a bit. And automatic manure scrapers. So they were very highly adopted. Also a feeding technology of automatic in-parlor feeders, a herd management app that we have called Herd Watch, and also automatic cluster removers. So those are all well over the majority of people adopting.
A lot of those sound very familiar in the New Zealand context. Are they kind of recent adoptions in Ireland, or they've been around for a while over there too?
They've been around for a while. There was a similar baseline study done in 2018. And so many of those were also surveyed in 2018. And although we've seen a significant increase across the 10 technologies that were assessed in 2018 and 2024, there was a nice crossover. All of them were increasing at a significant rate. But I think Bernie may have a different opinion about specific technologies, but those in particular have been around, I think, for a while.
Certainly. I suppose one that we could select out there would be the automatic cluster movers, and they certainly have increased very significantly in recent times. I think up to 50% on farms, and that may be due to the fact that herds are getting larger, maybe parlours are getting larger, and in order for the milker not to have too much over milking in the herd, then the ACR is important there from a milk quality and obviously a cow welfare perspective as well.
Okay. So you talked about the technologies that are highest on the list. Which ones are kind of emerging?
Yes, we do have some trends there as well. So automatic forage feeders from the study that we did in 2024 were being adopted at about a 10% rate. Virtual fencing and milking robots are down at about 2%. So those are very much emerging technologies as well. And Bernie's done a recent trial and study on virtual fencing. Maybe you'll touch on that.
Yes, we have currently been doing some research on virtual fencing. The virtual fencing isn't really in place in Ireland at the moment, but we took it on board to do research at the Teagasc Research Centre on it. And we found that cows adapted to it very well. They generally learned the system within a couple of days. And we do think that there is potential for it in the Irish scenario, particularly if we can link it with the grassland management. I suppose one thing we noticed was that there can be quite a bit of variation in the learning rate of the cows. On average, as I say, it was very good. They learned over a couple of days. But there can be cows that do take longer than others. And we do need to look into that a little bit further.
Okay. From the survey, could you tell anything about the types of farmers, the characteristics of farmers that were adopting more technology?
Yes, we're very fortunate with the Irish National Farm Survey. We have dozens and dozens of social demographic points that we can go look at. So we did some of that. These are preliminary results. But in 2024, from the people that we surveyed, not surprisingly, there was a highly significant association with having a larger herd size. So the average herd size in 2024 was 99 cows. The adopter mean herd size was between 124 to 142. So again, very different scale than New Zealand, but for us it was an uptick. So if they had a larger herd size, they had a larger farm size, specifically focused on the dairy enterprise, a higher proportion of hired labor, and interestingly, kind of a new thing to look at is a derogation status. So were these farmers in nitrates derogation, which is an environmental regulation in Ireland? And we're seeing all those four characteristics as being highly significantly associated with a technology adoption across the different categories, not even one in particular, but across cleaning, feeding, milking, etc.
What can you tell us about how farmers are selecting the technologies that they're adopting?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Another thing that we asked in the additional survey was about technology benefits. So we asked farmers to focus on a particular technology, and we gave them a few choices. And we said, tick as many benefits in these different categories, again, sort of animal health, labor, financial, social, environmental. And across the different categories, there were clear winners in animal health and labor. So they were calling out more generally that these are benefits for many different reasons. Environmental across the different chosen technologies that the farmers focused on were quite low. They didn't call out the benefits for environmental reasons. However, there was an exception, and that is this grassland management app called Pasture-based Ireland. And that significantly was called out. If the farmer chose to focus on Pasture-based Ireland, they were saying, putting their hand up and saying, we see great environmental benefits of using this national database and the associated app that goes with it. And Bernie can tell us a little bit more about Pasture-based Ireland.
Pasture-based Ireland is a grassland management decision support tool. It's also a mechanism to capture background data on farms. It has been in place since about 2013, and initially the uptake was quite slow, but there has been a steady increase in the number of dairy farms now recording grassland measurements, and I suppose that has been helped by extension personnel indicating the importance and farmers realising the importance of keeping on top of knowing what they have out there for the nutrition of their cow. And now there are approximately 7,000 farmers using the system. So we're pleased about that, and we're looking to increased functionality in the future with the Pasture-based Ireland platform as well. I suppose another form of technology that is adopted at a higher rate is the wearables. But while they could be considered under the health and welfare title, I suppose, they are mainly used at present from the point of view of heat detection.
Okay, yeah.
And because, again, it's so important for the calving interval, in our case, in the seasonal production system.
Well, thank you, Bernadette and Lisa. We've run out of time, but thank you so much for sharing those Irish perspectives with us. Key message is that despite being on opposite sides of the world, pasture-based dairy farmers face remarkably similar challenges and opportunities with precision dairy. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for coming on. Mā te wā.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
If you'd like to get connected with DairyNZ's latest advice, research, tools and resources, whether it's reading, scrolling, listening or in person, you can visit dairynz.co.nz/get-connected, and don't forget to hit follow to keep up to date with our latest episodes. As always, if you have any feedback on this podcast or have some ideas for future topics or guests, please email us at talkingdairy@dairynz.co.nz. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Talking Dairy.